So thanks for joining. I'm Saba, as you guys know, work at Guaranteed Rate. And I have the pleasure of, introducing you to one of my best friends, but not only one of my best friends, he is a marketing guru, Nick Tsoukalis. And I believe that you have to share the things that work for you and share wonderful things in your life with other people. And Nick has been integral part of really helping me with my business, aside from being my friend and getting me into running and all of these things that we've done together. He built a business straight out of online marketing, made it into the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies with his marketing tools. Started a marketing company. Why? So that he can help other people do the same thing. And he is absolutely just killing it and continues to do so. So a big part of my business has been social media, has been online marketing, in addition to also the personal stuff that we do to grow our businesses. But online has it's almost impossible to even measure how much that's helped my business. And I'm a continual student. So I always look to Nick to kind of guide me, tell me kind of the new things that are out there. And I think you guys are going to get a lot out of it. So I appreciate you guys coming. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my friend Nick Tsoukalis from Real Top Marketing.
What's up, Sava? What's up, everybody? Thanks for taking time on a Wednesday at 11 to attend. And the goal here is to bring you guys a lot of value. I don't want to bore you. I don't want this to run on. I want to give you guys tons and tons of value. And we'll talk about value as it pertains to social media content. And we're gonna fly. And then I want to open it up for questions. And there are a lot. Social media is so big, it's so broad. There's so much to it. It's constantly changing. I will say this: what we're going to do today is fundamental, regardless of the delivery, whether it's a reel, whether it's a post, whether it's a picture, whether it's a video, whether it's a TikTok, whether it's an Instagram post. This stuff's not going to change. Okay. So let's dive into it. Is that all right, Sava? We ready to roll?
Oh, let's do it, man.
All right, guys. So, how to come up with an endless supply of social media content. My name is Nick Tsoukalis, and if you're wondering why you should listen to me, aside from my good looks, let's go. I'll show you guys why. So, I've used digital marketing to acquire more than 100,000 paying clients for my own small business. Real number, not leads, real customers over the course of 15 years. Made the Inc. 5000 list 3 times, fastest growing private companies in the US, generated tens of millions of dollars in revenue and profit. And now I help other entrepreneurs do the same with my marketing agency. So you could almost say, like, we've taken the show on the road. Sava's been a huge part of my success. He doesn't realize it. And something we should address here. Some of you are probably wondering, like, oh, I don't want to do social. These guys are just naturals at it. I see them shamelessly producing content all the time. That's not me. I promise it's not me. Okay, I even get nervous presenting to you guys today. Never mind posting something to social. And I know for a fact Sava does too. So we feed off of each other. Okay, so none of this comes naturally to any of us, including many of the bigger entertainers out there. But these are some of the reasons why. Okay. Um, Before we begin, I want to address a few short questions, some acronyms. Everyone loves acronyms, especially in the real estate world, and a few rules. Okay. The first question I want to answer, and I still get this a lot. I do these presentations all the time, and I still get the why do I need to be active on social? I don't need social. Or I've been in business for 40 years. Why do I need to be active on social? Who cares? Well, um, in the past, you didn't, okay? As long as you had attention somewhere else. But right now, as always, attention is the single most important asset. Okay. And attention is on social. Okay. These are the stats. You know, Jay-Z says, or has been quoted as saying, women lie, men lie, numbers don't lie. These numbers don't lie. 147 minutes per day on social. Okay. That's a lot of time. If you remove the time we're all taking showers, in my case, it's like 2 hours a day, the amount of sleep, 10 hours a day, whatever that is, all the other things you're doing, this is a good portion of our life while we're awake. And you might not be a social media user for some reason. Maybe that's why you're here. This is the first time you're even exploring this. But the reality is attention is there. Okay. Next thing I want to address, and I want to get it out of the way. I get this too. Nick, I don't have gazillions of followers. Will social media work for me? When I started the agency 2.5 years ago, the only social media followers I had were my mom, my cousins, Sava, and like a bunch of people from my church. I think it was 100 people, and it worked. We got a ton of business from it. Okay. Um, and this is where we lead into rules and laws, right? The law of 250. Okay. If you guys are not aware who this is, become aware. Okay. This is a guy by the name of Joe Girard. He's not some big influencer. In fact, he's not alive. He passed away, I think, about 1.5 years ago. Joe Girard was the Guinness Book of World Records #1 salesperson of all time. If any of you have done car sales, you've probably heard of this guy. Okay. But he had this rule of 250, or the law of 250. Okay. And by the way, I think his sales stats were he sold 6 cars a day on average for 16 years straight, selling like very basic Chevys. So it's pretty incredible stuff. But he had this law of 250. Okay. He had just randomly gone to a few funerals throughout the course of a year. I hope none of you have to experience this, but you know, it happened to him. And he asked the funeral director after a few funerals, he's like, listen, how many people show up to this thing? And the funeral director said, well, if you look at the guest book, on average, you see about 250 people showing up to the funeral. Okay. What does this mean? Okay. Each of us, in some way, shape or form, tend to have about 250 people that love, care, and want to see us succeed. Potentially want to see us in the grave too. But let's pretend like they all want to see us succeed, right? Our sphere of influence is about 250 people. It doesn't seem like a lot of people. We're not influencers. We're normal people. But if you multiply that, that's where it gets kind of interesting. 250 people. If they know 250 people, okay, you're talking 62,500 people in your sphere of influence about a degree removed. Okay, those are big numbers. Okay, if you see a lot of the bigger stadiums across the United States, give or take, they're all around that number. Okay, which is pretty wild to think about, that we have access to about a stadium's worth of people in our sphere of influence. Okay, now that doesn't mean you're going to create a post, you're going to put it on Instagram, and 62,500 people are going to see it. Okay, but the potential is there. And not only that, social media is not the only place people are talking about you. You may have someone seeing you on social media, but they're talking about you over coffee to a friend at a Starbucks a week later or something. So keep that in mind. Um, a lot of marketing cannot be necessarily quantified or tracked. Okay, that's that halo effect. And if you can, it's great. But there's a lot more than what we can put down on an Excel spreadsheet. But this basic statistic proves you do not need a ton of followers. You do not need a huge crowd. We all know people. They will show up to your funeral. Now, acronyms. This is the biggest acronym I want to emphasize when it comes to marketing, okay, or when it comes to social media marketing. And this is TOMA, okay. It's important that any marketing channel that we pursue, we put into the proper bucket, okay. So social media marketing, to me and to the majority of my clients, okay, and let me emphasize, not social media advertising, social media marketing, the process of creating organic content and placing it on Instagram and on LinkedIn and on Facebook. It's more of a top of mind awareness approach. What is top of mind awareness? It's literally described here in the acronym. Okay. You're staying top of mind. When someone needs a mortgage, they think of Sava. Why did they think of Sava? When someone asks them for a referral, why do they automatically think of Sava? Because he is staying consistent on his social media marketing. So although he does get DMs with leads and inquiries to his website, what's more powerful is that someone text messages and calls him and says, "You were referred by Janet." How did Janice know to refer Sava? Well, he stayed top of mind. That's why he's successful. Okay. Let me go to the next slide. Now, I talk about the importance of putting the different types of marketing in their own, call them buckets. Okay, you can call them spheres, you can call them anything you want, columns. But it's important that we understand that there is some crossover as well. Okay, so I've heard people say, "Nick, I don't need social media because I do networking and lunches. I'm a BD, I'm a biz dev master." Well, good for you. That's over in business development land. That's a different sphere. Or they'll tell me, "I do Zillow. I'm the man on Zillow. I crush Zillow." Or, "I run Google ads for my business. I spend 10 grand a day doing Google ads for my business. I'm the man. I'm a millionaire. I don't need this." And I tell them, "Hey, that's a different sphere." And there is some crossover, okay? But these are different spheres, and it's important that you tackle each of them. That's what makes your business marketing plan well-rounded. You want to look at marketing in a holistic way, okay? The human body has multiple parts, okay? The arm is not better than the leg. They need to work together, and the same thing goes with marketing. So if you're doing paid ads and you're generating leads there, keep doing it. Supplement it with social media marketing or email or display or advertise or gratitude marketing. Some people will tell me, "I just send thank you cards and that's how I get all my business." Great. You should be doing it. It should be part of your business plan. This is holistic. Okay. And all of that falls under top of mind awareness. And then you have your business development, which is your networking, your lunches. For those of you in BNI, your one-to-ones. Okay. Your dinners, your events, your charities, all of these things are important. And you should not just focus on one because they all complement each other if they're done correctly. A very practical question I get, and it's time to get practical. That's why we're here. Okay. And that practical question is, okay, I haven't done any social media marketing for my business, my brand, or my personal brand, right? How much content should I be creating? Okay. Well, ultimately, you should be creating content all day long, right? That's not realistic though. That's not practical, and it's probably not going to happen. You guys, most of you, I assume, do not have a camera crew surrounding you all day long and a group of graphic designers and copywriters. So let's try to keep things simple, okay? And I'll give you guys that answer, by the way. The first thing I'll hear people say, by the way, when I throw that out there is less is more, Nick. Less is more. I do one post a week, but it's the best post ever. Okay, you got 52 weeks a year. You skipped the holidays. Realistically, you did 40 posts this year. It's not even enough to measure which posts are going to be successful so you can double down and triple down and quadruple down on those posts. So less is more when it comes to media and marketing really is it's bullshit, okay? Don't let anybody fool you. More is more. Literally, more is more. But you need to make an attempt at providing value in these posts. More is more doesn't just mean I hit record and I say some BS. Okay, you have to be providing value. You need to keep that in mind. And there's a simple way to do that. Okay. And by the way, that starting point, I think I have my slides switched around a little bit, is one post per business day, which is 20 posts per month. We'll go back to this though. Okay. How can we provide value for our audience? Okay. And this goes to a very important acronym. Okay. This is the acronym each of you need to write down and internalize. Okay. This needs to be tattooed into your marketing brains if you're running a business, and that is WIFT. Okay. WIFT stands for what's in it for them. Okay. Obviously, volume is great, content is great, but you need to be able to genuinely answer this question before you hit post. What's in it for them? Okay. Is it entertainment? Is it education? Or is it just something narcissistic? Look at me, I'm the man, okay? Sometimes that can be entertaining, but most of the time it's a turnoff, okay? If you can genuinely answer this question, what's in it for them, hit the post button, okay? Now, you own a business, you own a brand, okay? This is all fine and dandy. How are we going to create 20 social media posts per month? How are we going to provide value? Okay, that's what we're going to get into now. How can I create tons of this with test-approved content? Simple stuff, guys. Okay, and what I'm going to show you here, the 5 pillars of content creation. This is not new. I did not invent it. I had to learn it. Now I teach it to others, and I deploy this for dozens of brands that we help. Okay, but this has been around forever. There are 5 pillars of not just social media content, but really all content creation. By the way, this can go for email. This can go for your YouTube channel. This can even go for a podcast. Okay. The 5 pillars of social media are going to be educate, showcase work, community, corporate, and promotional. Okay. And I'm going to give you some examples of each. I love this first column, educate, hacks, tips, how-tos, tutorials, do's and don'ts. If you did nothing but create content within this pillar, you'll be successful on social media. I have a friend of mine who has 2.5 million TikTok followers. I have no idea how he monetizes it half the time. Okay. All he does is provide educational content, how-tos, tutorials, hacks, tips. He literally does this from his apartment, from his Android phone, from his apartment in Athens, Greece, and he's a worldwide sensation. Okay. How he monetizes it, I don't even know what his company is at this point, but he definitely has a following. The second is showcase work. For some of you in construction, you're doing a renovation project, the befores and afters, the reviews, the completed projects, the closed deals, okay? Next, we have community, okay? This is another pillar that you can live in a lot. Sava's a master at this freaking pillar, let me tell you right now. Events, news, bulletins, and entertainment. Do not underestimate the value of entertainment. If you have a serious business, okay, there's nothing wrong. You're a dentist. There's nothing wrong with having the nurses dancing in the hallway on TikTok. There's value to that. It's in the 3rd pillar, okay? It's entertainment. People love entertainment. You could actually live in this pillar all day long if you wanted as well. Then we have corporate, okay? This is my personal favorite, okay, but also could be the downfall of your social media. Employee team recognition is in the new hire stuff is fantastic. Recognizing your staff is amazing. Talk about being able to go viral. You recognize a team member, they're sharing that post. That's free marketing. Okay. New hires, that shows success. I can't emphasize enough how important it is for a business to, whenever you have a new hire, posting about it. How amazing that looks to your business. People don't want to do business with losers. Let's be realistic. You want to do business with winners. And what are winning businesses doing? They're hiring assistants, marketing help, operations people, front desk people. People love doing business with growing businesses. Okay. Where it can get a little hairy, though, is the awards, and it can start getting a little narcissistic. We're going to touch on that. Okay. Last but not least, we have promotional. Okay. If you're in the car selling business, promotions, you could probably live in this column quite a bit. Okay. But sales, new services, discount, limited offers, new programs, that's very important as well. Okay. You're in the mortgage business, Saba. Every once in a while, you guys will see one of his posts. There's a new product coming out. There's a new loan program coming out. That's very important for you real estate agents out there. This is, by the way, one of the biggest opportunities for you. Sava literally every single day is getting new programs, new guidelines, new changes, things that are quite intriguing. I would highly suggest For everyone in the real estate community that's in this meeting here, reach out to him and get onto some sort of text with him and say, hey, you know, what do you got new that's this week? Okay. If you're selling property, you're selling a mortgage as well. So find out the new products that are out there. It's an amazing selling tool. Okay. And this is not just a plug to Saba. This is real because we've done it. Okay. One of the I love the corporate column here, but it can also be your downfall. Okay, and I've seen this a lot. Okay, where companies hang out here a little too much, specifically in the about us and the awards. Hey, I just got this award because I did, you know, $500,000 in sales last month. Okay, great. We don't need to hear about it in every single post. Okay, there's a word for that. This is my favorite slide, by the way. It's called narcissism. Okay, for any of you that hung out in 80s and 90s WWF, and it was WWF wrestling, you remember Lex Luger as a narcissist. Nobody liked this guy. Nobody. Be careful. If all you could think of for your post today is, hey, check out my Ferrari again, check out my awards again, check out how rich I am again, trust me, that grows old. Okay, it's a great way to create envy as well, which basically is hate. So stay away from it. Provide value. Okay. Now, I'm big on. Well, actually, I'm going to be sharing this with you guys after, but I left some white space here. These are some examples, especially if you real estate agents, of topics that you can post about. Okay. So in terms of educate, you have buyer tips, seller tips, offer hacks. This was a big one for a while when there was absolutely zero inventory, like how to write a winning offer, like putting a picture of your kids and your dog in that offer letter. How to sell your house for more than asking. That's a big one. Do it yourself staging tips. Few examples. You notice there's a lot of white space here. This can be endless. Okay. Showcasing work, closed deal testimonial. Some people will say, Nick, isn't this showing off? No, not at all. Okay. This is very, very important. It's important that you're always providing at least a small trickle of testimonials, reviews in your social media feed. Why? Because someone might hear about you in the real world. Okay. And what are they going to do? Very quickly, and there's stats behind this. They're going to go check you out on Insta. They're going to check you out on Facebook. Okay. And it's good when they check out your feed, they see some other people have basically said something nice about you. We call it social proof. Okay. And social proof is critical. Next, we have closing day pictures. Use that big cardboard key. There is value to that. You're closing deals. You're doing business. You are successful. And for some of you guys in the home services industry, the before and after renovations are great too. They're also valuable in terms of just being a beautiful visual. People like looking at that stuff. I almost think it falls into the entertainment bucket a little bit. But again, add your own. Okay. Next is community. Okay. Client meetings. My God, this is the best one. Client meetings, open houses, networking functions. When you're having lunch with somebody, you want to talk about the easiest post ever. Okay. And this really isn't something pre-planned, but you're having lunch with someone, a potential business partner. For God's sakes, tell the waiter, hey, can you snap a picture of us? Simple, right? No big deal. Think about this now. They've got 3,000 followers, that person you're having coffee with, you're having lunch with. And all you did was make a post saying, hey, it was great having lunch with you today. It's amazing. It's such a great opportunity having partners like Lisa Smith. She's tagged. What does Lisa do 10 seconds later? Oh my God, I'm famous. I'm on Saba's feed. So what does she do? She shares it. And what does Lisa have? 200 coworkers that do the same thing she does to follow her. Okay. And another 2,000 people that are doing business with her in some way, shape, or form, her sphere of influence, 2,000 times 2,000, all of a sudden the exposure you're getting by just having the courtesy to thank someone in public, it's massive. I've seen people succeed on social by just literally documenting every one-to-one they do throughout the week, taking a picture of it. Hey, waiter, take a picture. There's no photographer following them. The waiter's the photographer. And all they do is snap a shot, okay? And all of a sudden, they're everywhere. You can't get away from these people. And you can do this at the client meetings, at the open houses, at the networking functions, town day, not so much. Sometimes the volunteering, karaoke, 100%. And if you get to visit Sava's grilled cheese truck events, that's a big one too. He always shares everything I tag him in, so it's free marketing. Last but not least, we have promotion, okay? For those of you selling product, price reduction, obviously not in this market though. What's that?
I think somebody was on the phone. I muted them.
Oh, no problem. Price reductions, new loan programs, staging, if that's something, promotions. Some companies can make their entire feed a promotion. Again, you're in the car business, you could probably hang out in promotions all day long if you wanted, okay? But most of the time, this is something you're gonna throw in there. It's not gonna be the basis of providing massive value to your audience, okay? Also, within the 5 pillars, okay, if you needed to create, I also made that suggestion on a previous slide, okay? You got 20 business days, okay? It would be very easy and a very simple approach to social media for your brand or business. Simply just dedicate a day, guys, okay? You got 20 business days, chances are you got 4 Mondays. Every Monday is an educational post. And you can even make it every Monday is a hack or a how-to or a do and don't, okay? Every Tuesday is literally a review or a before and after. You can pick one thing within the showcase column here and just stick with that for a while, okay? Same thing with Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. This is a simple approach. This is a practical approach. You're gonna massage this and change this later. And once you get some momentum, you might find that your educational posts, for whatever reason, are getting 5 times the engagement. And you say, you know what, Nick? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm doing hacks and how-tos. That's fine. Go for it, okay? But at first, you're going to be testing things out. Maybe you're doing it for the first few months, and then the posts that perform, you will double down on those. Maybe your feed will be strictly promotional, and that's fine with me too, if that is what's getting you the engagement, okay? But this is a well-rounded, simple approach that you can execute 5 days a week, 5 business days, and 20 business days a month, okay? I'm going to include in here a social media calendar that has this approach, okay? The reason we use social media calendars, guys, is because, preparation is everything. I'll tell you, we work with dozens of brands, and we're not posting today for today, okay? Right now, we're in, let's see here, it's April 12th. Chances are we have every single post for every single one of our clients. All headlines written, all graphics done, all content created, everything scheduled for May and possibly for June, okay? So you want to be able to plan this out. So if you're thinking about after this call, hey, you know what? I'm going to start deploying social for my brand next month. That's fine, okay? Let's get it done now for next month, okay? And in here, you can literally fill in the dates, fill in all the headlines. On Monday, you're going to educate. Let's come up with 5 educational posts. On Tuesday, we have 5 showcasing work posts and so on, and fill out this calendar, okay? You can also take the waiter approach. Waiter comes over to your table. They simply say, okay, 5 burgers, 5 fries, 5 steaks, 5 shakes, 2 salads, right? You can take that approach too. Personally, I like this approach better. I don't get hung up so much on the days of the week, but I know if I'm going to deploy marketing in May and June, I'll pre-plan this way. I'll say, hey, I want 4 educational posts, 4 showcase work posts, 4 community posts, and so on. Okay. And I'll actually go into detail. Okay. So when I get with my team, even for my own brand social media, this is literally what I do with my team. I meet them and I say, hey guys, next month, I want 4 how-to posts. Get writing, 4 closed deal posts, 4 event posts. Create them in advance. It's simple. Okay. A couple of free tools. Okay. So I always tell people, do this in advance. Well, how am I going to do this in advance? Well, for most of you that are hanging out on social, you're probably not hanging out in TikTok just yet. Okay. You can go into something called the Meta Business Suite, and we'll get you links to all this. It's completely free, and it will allow you to schedule all of your posts days, weeks, months in advance. Okay. So you can use this. It's an amazing tool. You can schedule it on Facebook, on Instagram, and Instagram months in advance, and you can actually check out your performance within this tool as well. Okay, so right now this is the time to be creating all of our May posts. Also, I'm going to address something because people will say, well, you know, what if I am if I'm creating all of these posts for the next month, what if I am having a client meeting and I'm at an event and I want to post spontaneously? You should. Okay. You should actually be doing it daily. Okay. So if you're having a meeting with somebody that day, and you want to have the waiter take a picture of you guys, and you want to tag them and you want them to share and all this good stuff that I mentioned earlier, you should do it. Do it on top of pre-planning a consistent social media feed. Okay. Saba and I went for a run yesterday morning. We went for a run. And Saba was like, yo, let's make a post real quick about the event tomorrow. And we did it. Guess what, though? I think he still had another 2 or 3 posts that hit his feed, that he and his team, that Alyssa, they had created and hit his feed on top of that. Okay. So you're not going to take away from your scheduled post by posting something spontaneously. Do both. Okay. There are also additional tools for some of you that want to be posting to LinkedIn as well, and you want to be scheduling. LinkedIn does now have a scheduling capability, but a tool like Sprout Social, we've used this at the agency a lot, allows us to pre-plan posts across multiple platforms, including Twitter and Google My Business, and have it all centralized in one place. It's a little bit more advanced, but it's a phenomenal tool. A few other tools we love, okay? Canva, okay? You do not need to be a professional graphic designer. It obviously helps if you have a bunch of them on staff, okay? So I'm spoiled, Dava's spoiled, but for those of you that don't, go into Canva. You can make absolutely beautiful images, or you can edit images very, very easily. One that we really love lately, Saba and I were talking about this on our run, is CapCut. CapCut has absolutely fun templates for videos. You can create really professional looking videos via CapCut, adding captions, adding, licensed music. So you can get a lot of the really good music you're seeing right now on Reels. You can pull right from CapCut. You don't stand the chance of getting in trouble. And then for those of you that are a little bit more advanced, we obviously have Photoshop. Images. If you are in a very visual business, okay, I always suggest curating images from your cell phone. If you're in real estate, you're in a visual business. Take pictures. You're selling cars. Take pictures. But let's say you're an attorney or you're an accountant. Oh my God. That's the least visual business ever. You still should be doing social, okay? But you're going to need to probably curate some images, probably some stock images that you can modify in Canva. Stock.adobe.com is the one we actually use at the agency. It's pretty inexpensive, and there are millions of awesome images there. I'm including a little freebie here that's hyperlinked called Content Row. It's just a site that we use to actually analyze our headlines Keep in mind, 80% of your post is your headline. That's your bait. That tool will allow you to analyze your headline, and it will tell you if it's junk or not. There's even a clickbait filter. So if you want clickbait, it will help you write a clickbait headline. Distribution and scheduling, I mentioned Meta Studio is awesome. Hootsuite, Sprout, and Heorka, those are the 3 third-party companies that you can do all of your scheduling with. If you're going to be on Facebook, you're going to be on Instagram, you're going to be on Twitter, you're going to be on LinkedIn, or you need to be posting to multiple profiles at the same time, the same content across multiple profiles, you want to go to one of those third-party tools. They're very, very easy to use, okay? Last but not least, I want to talk about stories for a second, okay? I think brands, personal brands, business brands, are using stories incorrectly a lot of the times, or a lot of the time. Your feed, whether it's a reel, whether it's a post, whether it's a TikTok video, is typically a place that requires a little bit of planning, okay? And what we mentioned here, but stories is not a place that requires planning, okay? And I'll have you guys think about this in TV terms, right? There are 2 types of shows, right? There's a show that has a subject matter, a theme, it's pre-planned, and it's scripted, right? It's just a regular old TV show. Then you have reality TV. It's a documentary. You're documenting. That's stories, okay? There's no plot. You're just following along in people's day, okay? The feed is where we create content. Stories is where you document. You do not create. This is a bit of a ridiculous example here, but this post to the left is a 10-slide carousel that my content team, graphic designers created. Probably took them all day. It's, 4K image, all the bells and whistles. And then this one to the right is my feet. I was standing in my kitchen, drinking coffee, probably doing nothing. And I was like, oh, look how stupid my feet look. Look at my sneakers and my socks. And I made a story of it. This stupid story, and that's what it is, let's be real here, got way more engagement than the hot girl with the lips and the lemon in her mouth. I'm not sure why she has a lemon in her mouth. My feet beat her, okay? Beat all that work. Why? Because people love looking under the hood of what's going on in people's day. Whether it you have a brand that has an office headquarters and you're running the social for that, they love seeing you in stories going to someone's desk and throwing a paper ball at someone. That's really what you do, okay? They love looking under the hood and finding out what people are doing. That's why reality TV works good, even though it doesn't look like reality most of the time. That's why people love documentaries. Use stories to document, okay? I hang out in stories more than I even care about my feed at this point, okay? My feed is consistent, my team does it, and in stories, I just post all day long what's happening in my day. And my stories have been beating my feed lately. But Sav and I talk about this all the time. It's hilarious, actually. Literally a picture of feet. I've probably posted 5 pictures of feet in the last 2 years, and they've all gotten an insane engagement. So I will leave you guys with that, and then I want to open it up. Obviously, I'll share the presentation with you guys. If you guys have any questions about how to more properly deploy social media marketing for your brand, whether it's your personal brand for what you're doing, or your business brand, reach out to me, reach out to Saba. We will help you. We live in this all day long. If you're a real estate agent and you want to close a lot more real estate deals, like this guy, he's actually a friend of ours. He's not a real estate agent, but doesn't he look like one? He looks like a soap opera actor. But if you want to do a lot more business, social is the place right now. Maybe next year it won't, but right now, currently it is, and the chances are it will continue to be. Um, so yeah, I want to leave you guys with that, and then open it up for any and all questions. Sava, would it be okay if I stop the share and open it up?
Yeah, no, open it up. I wanted to actually add a couple of things as well. So, and then if anybody has any questions, please feel free even to interrupt me and ask. I, throughout the day, I always like struggle sometimes to figure out what we should be posting. And I wanted to share one last tool that I think is kind of cheating. And I think you know where I'm going with this, Nikita.
Oh yeah, we love cheating
We
though.
we
We're big
we, we,
cheaters
lo-
here in the marketing
we
world.
love to cheat a little bit. So some of you probably know about this, and some of you probably don't. So I'm going to share it with you in case you don't. So here is what I'm looking at right now. This is a very famous website that got to 1 million users in the fastest amount of time ever. And you guys can see it or no?
Yep, yep.
So this is ChatGPT. So I went through a little binge, right? I was like, okay, I'm getting really tired every single day trying to find content, putting it. I'm not as organized as I'd like to be. I kind of wing it sometimes. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna dedicate 1 day, 2 days to just creating content, split it up, mix it up, get it ready, and then start kind of posting it out. And I was like, okay, I've just blanked out. I have no idea what I say. And I'm like, I want to do 50 videos. That's what I want to do. So this is an artificial intelligence tool. It's called Chat GPT. So you can you can just put chat.openai.com, and it's free. You can go here, type in what you want to talk about. So I basically came here and I said, hey, give me 50 ideas to talk about on a video for social for social about mortgages for first-time buyers.
This is absolutely frightening.
It's frightening, right? So this is going to keep going, and I don't have to do all of these, but I have mental blocks. It's sometimes it's a challenge even to just post on any given day. But if I planned it, and what we did is Nick connected me with people who actually helped me video them in more professional way, which I didn't really need to do because I could have done this all from my house. But I picked a day. I went there. I wrote the content out. You can even ask for the answers in a conversational form, and you can kind of get an idea and give you some motivation to start. And maybe you'll pick 5 or 6 things here that really resonate. So a little cheat that I thought would be great for people who just kind of get mental blocked. Another thing I wanted to mention is uh, the most engaging stuff for me has been where I do my personal stuff, the things that I really love. So I do a lot of lunch and learns, right? So I'll go to some offices, I'll go to a bunch of groups, and I'll talk about our new programs, which pretty much a lot of mortgage companies pretty much have similar programs. So I am giving some value because we have some unique things that others don't do. But generally speaking, pretty much all loan officers have very similar products. Um, when I went to, every time I do one of these, I get people talking about social always with me because they always see me on, and they mention we want more guitar playing. We want more of you playing the guitar. And really, I just enjoy playing it, and I love recording it. And then there's the vain part about it that you want people watching you play it, so you got all that stuff going on. So for me, that makes, I think my love for it comes out, and those are the things that get the most engagement, most views. But then I continue doing what Nick was talking about. Okay, we still have to post about our business from time to time. So your reviews, new programs, closings, meetings at lunches, which I'm guilty of not always taking pictures because I just kind of get lost in the conversation and then I forget about it. And I realized I've lost, multiple opportunities now that you said it again, Nick. Thanks for bringing that up. That I said, wow, I just didn't connect with another 4,000 people with the last two people that I've met with. I didn't, take that extra step and say, hey, waiter, take a quick picture of us and then thanking them. And that's a really big and very true, Nick. So I want to thank you there for that. But look at this. This thing is still writing. I got 50 ideas. Actually, I got to save this for my next one.
I
So
wanted to add to what you said too, Saba.
sure.
So specifically for you guys that are in, you're in real estate, you're running a personal brand there. You're doing business development for your brand. So your personal brand needs to actually generate leads, and you're using your personal social media as a business development tool. And you feel a little cringy about just filling up your personal feed with business stuff. Um, follow the old boxing term, jab, 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 hook, right? You don't fill up your feed with hooks if you're running a personal brand. Document the day to day of your life. You're sharing pictures of your kids, your cat, your dog, sporting events. Those are your jabs, playing the guitar. Those are the things you care about. And that's where people connect with you on a personal level. Those are the jabs. And then for every 7 or 8 things you're posting or sharing, maybe you're gonna throw in something about your business, and that's your hook. And and it'll make you feel a little bit better. And if you're worried, oh man, if I do that, if I share my business, people are gonna unfollow me. Well, listen, let me tell you something. Everyone that loves and cares and wants to see you, loves, cares, and wants to see you succeed, um, they're gonna be happy to see you're posting about your business. They're gonna want to share it. If you've got someone that's envious of you or jealous of you or really just kind of hates you and they're just following you because they're hoping you do worse than them, and they unfollow, they just did you a big favor. So don't be afraid to share the pride you have in the beautiful business that you're running. You should. And if anyone's got a problem with that, then I got a curse word response. But you know what? My response to that is F them, and get rid of them. Don't let them slow you down. If you're doing something you're proud of, the whole world should know. But in fact, if you look at business 100 years ago, every single business was named after the owner. Gucci, there was a Gucci, there was an Armani, okay? Everything was named after the owner. Now, we have these businesses with these random names. It didn't always work like that. You were your business. You took so much pride in it. Take that same pride, take ownership of it. There's nothing wrong with that. And with that said, I think we should open it up for any questions.
Yeah,
And
let's do it.
guys, these can be tactical questions, broad questions. Even if you're having trouble getting the confidence to create a post, please ask.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself. I believe everybody has the ability to do that. So please go ahead if you guys have any questions. Nick, is my screen still up?
Yeah. I don't know. All right, is it?
Because
Yes.
I lost the ability to do something anyhow. That's fine.
It's still up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not letting me exit out of it. I can't find that screen. Nonetheless, I have like 4 screens. But as you guys can see, when you talk to Nick, and one of the problems with running with Nick in the morning is that we just get lost in conversation about our businesses and just like about the things that passionate about. And man, like every single time that we talk, we're always learning and we're always getting inspired to do more. And I appreciate it, Nick. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
So yeah, opened up to any questions. Anybody have anything? Otherwise, we can definitely wrap it up. No matter what, we're definitely going to send you guys the link for the recording. And Nick, it's okay to share the slides with everybody through email as well. I'm assuming.
Of course. I'll send it to you as a PDF so everybody has it. Anybody have any questions? You can even type it into the chat, guys, if there's anything you're wondering.
I got a question for you, Nick.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're starting out on social, do you target a lot of different apps and just go with all of them? Is there one specific one that you tend to focus on and then move on to the next? How would you think about starting out?
Yeah, it's a good question. This is actually a very common question because you can get overwhelmed at the number of apps that exist. I would say this: the people on Facebook tend to not really hang out on Insta. The people on Insta aren't hanging out on TikTok, right? Everyone sort of kind of, at least from an audience perspective, everyone sort of kind of lives mostly in one platform. That's their go-to. So I think it's important that you think about like who are your customers and where are they hanging? Like if your customers tend to be in the 40 plus crowd, they're probably hanging out on Facebook a lot. If they're in the 25 to 40 crowd, they're probably hanging in Instagram. And if they're under 25, they're in Snap, they're in TikTok, and they're hanging out a little bit inside of Instagram. Do you know where your audience or what your audience looks like right now? Maybe I can give you some insight.
Yeah, yeah. I actually just joined because I wanted to learn more. I don't have a product or service or anything. I'm just working in a robotic space, and so I'm just interested to know the marketing road.
I'll tell you,
Yeah.
we work with clients that build robots. We do social for robot builders, believe it or not. We have this one client that builds robots for Tesla, and they're hanging out in LinkedIn. So if that ends up becoming your product or your business, LinkedIn is where you want to be for all things robotics in manufacturing, mostly. If you're going to focus on one platform, eventually you could probably go LinkedIn, um, LinkedIn with a little Facebook. That tends to be the natural. That tends to be what happens in robotic manufacturing. And then Instagram is it's a little too youthful. It doesn't seem to have a big crowd.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I do have a follow-up question, if that's okay. Um, how do you measure, or I guess, what are some of the metrics and measurements you use to measure how effective the social is?
Great question. The first measurement is the cash register. So let's say you are lucky enough to post 100 pieces of content over the course of, let's call it 3 or 4 months, right? And for some reason, there are 3 or 4 pieces of content that every time you post, you get a lead, an inquiry, or a purchase. Then just do that. I don't care how many clicks you got over there on some other post that was maybe, sort of vanity driven. So that's the first thing. If you just get a bunch of DM, and a bunch of DMs about needing your service because of the post, do more of that. Period. But let's say it's more of a top of mind awareness approach. Then you would want to look at engagement, which is the combination of clicks, comments, saves, and shares. Okay, and really you can look at that if you're doing it inside of Facebook and Instagram, you can do that inside of the Meta Studio. There's actually some charts in there that will tell you which post is giving you the most engagement. If you're in Instagram, there's a professional dashboard that you can click on right from the app, and you can sort by total engagement and look at the last 90 days and see which post won. Okay, this post won. Do it again. That's the post. They want
Okay.
more. Go for it. Does that make sense?
Yep. Thanks.
You're
And
welcome.
and do people repost? Let's say, or maybe the question is, do reposting help? Let's say you have a content out and then a few weeks down the line you do the same type of content again.
I haven't done a lot of that. But every time I have, if it's been a successful post, it's worked. I know a lot of other social media marketing managers that are going heavy on this. I can't imagine that it would hurt. We're seeing, if you look at YouTube, for example, if you follow like a lot of YouTube shorts, we're seeing multiple different we're seeing multiple different channels reposting the same content, and then in those channels, well, actually, let's say there's a really good bit. Steve Harvey said something motivational, right? You might have 100 different motivational business channels posting that same thing, and then each of those channels is reposting it, 10 times over the course of a year. So that's proof that that works. I just haven't done a lot of it, but I would say 100%.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What other questions do we have, guys, that we can take you through? I think we're good.
Yeah, awesome. Nick, as usual, like I don't get enough of you when we're running. Still can't get enough of you when we're talking about this kind of stuff. And you're always so passionate about it, and you're always a student, which I really appreciate, because you teach me so much that I've never even thought about. And I appreciate that you're sharing it with everybody. You took some time out of your busy day, and I mean, running the businesses and like dealing with your customers. So, this was very important for me, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Thanks for giving me the opportunity, guys, to shut off all of my Slack messages for an hour. This is great.
Yeah.
I'll come on anytime.
Yeah, awesome. So, Alyssa, thanks for putting this together as usual. Alyssa really helps so much with all the preparing for this stuff and getting it organized and putting together the list. So, and a lot of some of the edits on the videos, a lot of that is Alyssa. But I don't want to discourage anybody from oh, I don't have somebody who's doing this kind of stuff for me. Download CapCut and make some videos and play around with it. I'm telling you, you could do it on your own. I do most of my video editing, a lot of it on my own, and then Alyssa kind of fine tunes it, and helps me with some of the caption stuff and some of the other editing. But it's super easy to do. Start playing around with it and just post some stuff. I can't wait to see it, and I promise I will be commenting on your stuff as well, and follow us, and do the same for us, please. But thanks again, everybody. It's just about 12 o'clock, about an hour right on time, and let's have a successful week, successful spring. And anything you guys need, any questions about this stuff, please let me know and let Nikitas know. But we'll reach out to everybody and give everybody the presentation and the video. Alyssa, thanks again. Nick,
Yep,
thank
thanks.
you. Everybody, thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.